Hi guys, how's it going? As always, welcome to the latest episode of the Winning Edge podcast. I'm Rick. John, how are you, mate?
I'm good. I look a lot fucking warmer than you look right now in that coat inside your house. Fuck me, you boiler, bro.
Yeah. I'm not being tight with my heating near or anything. It's just all of a sudden, so much for me being smug the other week about I'm set in the sun and all
True,
this
yeah,
kind of stuff. Yeah, well, the universe has paid me back because I've just got home to record this podcast. We'll maybe talk about that in a minute as well. And now that's flipped the other way around. And my house is cold, so yeah, I'm sat here literally in my walking coat, freezing. But because the weather's all of a sudden has just dropped in. It's freezing cold and all that, and you're there rocking the old sleeveless and all that kind of stuff, aren't you?
Do not miss that.
Yeah. So in terms of today's theme, we'll probably come to in a minute, but yeah, we'll kind of come to now. But I've got to give you a chance to have your rant first. Maybe get this out of the way. But I'm at home today. You were at home on the last episode, which we've now decided to scrub, haven't we? Because your Wi-Fi is clearly as good as my heating, and it just didn't come out well, did it? Which is going to lead us to the theme of today. But then also, we then went to record the other day, and here comes the rant. We were about to record the other day. What happened, my friend?
So I got up in the morning and I come downstairs to jump in the car, truck, to go to work. And obviously it's not there. There's a big fucking empty space where my truck should be. So some fuckers have stolen my brand new fucking truck. I've only had it 2 months, which was pretty frustrating. So, the ironic thing was obviously, first of all, it's a big inconvenience, right? You fucking straight away oh fuck, who do I call first? I've got to call the insurance. Do I need to call the police? How does the police work? And even nowadays, fucking here, the police do nothing about anything in LA anymore. It's all over the news that most things they don't even deal with anymore. So you're don't even need to go to the police. What's the fucking point? But get this. So I go to the police station because I need a claim, a report number.
Crime number, yeah.
Crime number. So I'm stood in the queue and I'm the next person up. I go up and there's a few people behind me. So I'm just explaining what happened to my truck, giving them all the details, whatever. And then the next window opens and this guy comes next to me and says, yeah, I'd like to report my car stolen last night. I'm like, fucking hell. So I turn around, I'm like, what, you too? The guy's like, fucking yeah, Chevy Suburban, it's another truck. And as I'm asking this guy next to me, 2 other people in the queue are both like, yeah, we're here for the same thing. So there was 4 of us in the police station at the same time reporting trucks stolen that fucking night. So it's been a big thing. Now I've looked into it and found out even the insurance company were not surprised. They're like, oh yeah, we've had quite a few of these recently. So there's a big organized crime thing going on where they're stealing certain makes of cars and specifically trucks, brand new trucks, because mine was quite a specific one and they're not making them anymore. So they're getting stolen, shipped off to Europe, I believe, and fucking sold. So, yeah, pain in the arse. And also, they found out this way, American trucks, they found a way of use, because everything's electric. It's technology's fucking great, but it's also great for fucking thieves. They create these things where basically just fucking, electronic thing, they rub it past the fucking handle, the car opens, fucking drives off. So yeah,
I might get offered your truck in a couple of weeks and someone wants to buy.
Yeah. I mean, if you fucking see anyone driving around in a Ram TRX, which you don't fucking see many of in the UK, it might be mine.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite a moderate rant compared to what you were doing before we press record, weren't you? So
fucking hell, yeah. I mean, it's been 2 weeks now. I've calmed down a little bit. Apart from every time I get my rent a car, which is a piece of shit. But hopefully another week and I'll be able to buy something.
Oh dear, are you going to buy another truck?
No, I'm a fuck. Although I've seen a really fucking nice one I want, but I won't sleep at night because I know that they're being targeted at the moment. If I put it outside the house again, I'm one of them. I can't work out whether, if I'm an organised car thief and I've just stolen something really nice from an area that was clearly really easy to steal from, Am I going to wait 2 or 3 weeks knowing that they're going to get the insurance and then go and see what the fuck has gone aboard now?
Yeah.
Right? That's how my brain thinks. That's what I do. Or would you just not go back to the same area? I don't know. Me, I'm a little bit like, I think these guys will come and check in 2 or 3 weeks to see what I've got outside the house now.
Wow.
And potentially take that. So
there's a big thing in London now about you can't get Range Rovers insured anymore and stuff like that, because it's the exact same. They're just being targeted and they're being stuck on a boat and going off to wherever they're going to and all that. And but there we go. Your poor truck is a goner. At least it's not your Lambo, eh?
Yeah, true. I'd be fucking more devastated if it was that. But anyway, it is what it is. It's only a fucking truck. I'll get a new one. It's funny, like the reactions are quite funny because fucking guys like, oh no, fucking hell, like think my fucking dog had died or something. Like it's okay. It's pissed me off, but it's just a fucking truck. I can get another one.
Well, it's like a man thing, innit? The truck.
Yeah. Until I get my new fucking insurance thing, and then I'll be like, oh fuck, okay, my insurance has gone up fucking 3 times. But anyway.
I mean, I wasn't laughing. I wasn't laughing at you getting your truck stolen. I was laughing at your rants just to put that out there,
Fucking so pissed. But anyway, it is what it is.
Anyway. So, going back a little bit, I hope you're okay over the truck, mate. I hope you're okay. And
I'll be fine. Don't worry.
Bon voyage to John Bond's truck. Never to be seen again. Let's move on from that, shall we? So we did record, and it didn't quite work out. Wi-Fi connectivity, all that kind of stuff. So we've decided, because we'd done a pretty good episode, haven't we, about how shit our predictions were for the Fury fight and all that kind of stuff. So we sort of talked that through, didn't we? Yeah. I
mean, look, my fucking fault with that. Like, I should have known. I had a feeling my house Wi-Fi was not fucking great. And the problem with technology a lot of the time is, the interesting thing doing these things, like I'm looking now doing this at work, and me and you are like super fucking clear. But when I was recording, it was you that was unclear on the screen, and I looked fucking perfectly clear. So I'm thinking, well, we'll see how this works out. Sometimes it buffers itself out when I save it. And you were like, at the end of the show, was like, that was fucking tough. Like, you were blurry as fuck. And I was like, really? I couldn't fucking see that. So unfortunately, sometimes with these things with technology, you don't know until it's finished and you put the work in and, lessons learned that you're like, fuck, all that fucking, it's never a waste of time. Like, because if nothing else, we have a catch up, right? But you put all that work, the difficulty with anything live is you can't really redo it. So if it's fucked, it's fucked. And then you've got to put more time and effort into either try to re-record the same topic, which, I'm pretty sure you're like me. I mean, I can't remember what we were really talking about a couple of weeks ago fully. So there's no way that's happening. So, yeah, sometimes these things get lost. Lesson with technology, right?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, when we started this, we talked about being natural anyway, didn't we? And sort of, we have subjects that we want to talk about, but we don't actually have a script per se, do we? We're just sort of going for it and ad-libbing and all that, so is that even the right term? But anyway, I'm not sure. Don't know who I'm trying to be there, but anyway,
I know that was a big word, Rick. I mean, come on, let's calm down.
Let's do some ad-libbing, John, whatever the fuck that means, like making it up, mate. There you go. That's a better one. Making it up.
Manchester,
yeah. But it is what it is. We're not re-recording it, are we? We're just sort of going for it. We are where we are now, and that's that. But there was, and it did sort of lend into today, really. That none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. We're still learning, and with that in mind, we're learning still as coaches, business owners. And then we got talking about, we've come up with the idea of discussing trends, haven't we, for this time of year, and lessons that we've learned from the past that hopefully might be of value to those listening in. Yeah.
I mean, I think running a business, and I think, if I break it down, I know we sometimes kind of, I don't want to use the term taking the piss a little bit, but I kind of will, I guess. We use the term business And it can mean many different things. But I mean, I'm going to take it right back to even just being like a freelance trainer in a gym, right? I don't really see that as running a business fully. I know you feel the same there. But the bottom line is you are running your own thing. You are in charge of you, and you are in charge of the money you make. And I think from that, we work with people that do that. We also work with people that run their own gyms, and we have our own businesses as well. And learning how to actually look at seasonal trends, and not even look at seasonal trends, fucking remember and have stats from one year to the other. I mean, I don't know what you was like when we were like back in the day working at LAPT and whatnot, but Christmas has always come around and we just fucking wing our way through it. Really. If I look back, there's different things I look back at now that maybe if I've been more organized, and organization and stats and being able to reflect and look back and plan in advance the following year is crucial for running a business. I think this is where working as a freelance trainer, sometimes we do diss it as a real business, because the people that do that, including us back in the day, didn't really treat it like a real business.
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't. We just worked week to week, month to month, and
just grafted.
Christmas is going to be quiet, but there's really zero planning around it. There's zero looking at, is that a good time? Looking back, one of the things I wish I'd done more of as a freelance trainer was just fucking taking Christmas off. Yeah. Taking 2 weeks off, not fucking work, because there was always a good reason back in the day then not to be off work. If some of your clients were in, just make a bit of money, because it's an expensive time of year. There's the fucking issue. You don't plan all year. Then it's an expensive time of year, whether you're going out more often and you've got fucking presents to buy and all this shit. And then all your clients disappear. You've got 4 or 5, or half of them sort of still, I'll be training, I'll be around the gym. And you just think, well, I'll just work through.
Plowing on, yeah.
And then before you know it, it's January and you're not going to take any time off then, because everyone's back and it's busy. And you're a bit like, for me, I look back and I'm like, you know what? I should have just fucking cut my losses. And had I planned Christmas time better, made money earlier, banked it, saved it, and gone to my clients, look, whether you're here or not, I'm taking 2 weeks off. It's a good time to chill. It's a good time not to be around, the fucking work. Give the clients that are sticking around a fucking program to do, let them train on their own. They're going to be fine anyway, and get back on it. Whereas I was always too much like, if you're here, I'm here. That was my answer to everything. If you're around, I'll be here. And I was always in the gym. I was going to go and train anyway. So that was my other excuse. I told myself, well, I'll be in working out anyway. So what time do you want to come in? I'll back you on to the end of my own workout. And you end up realizing that actually, even though you're only in a few hours a day, much less, it's the whole psychological energy side of, well, I'm still working.
Yeah.
But I'm not really making any fucking money. So why not use that as time off? Why do not plan that better? And then, I remember thinking these things at the time and being like, next year I'll do this differently. Next year comes around exactly the fucking same. Oh shit, it's middle of December and I've got no money and I'd better fucking, so I'll just work through and we'll worry about holiday next year. So
personal tax in the UK is due at the end of January as well, isn't it? So it's just it's a relentless couple of months, isn't it? Of like you say, socializing, buying presents, not as many clients in. Then, I think one of the worst ones, then people expect this boom of a month in January. But then if you've got a few clients who've perhaps extended their winter holidays and all that kind of stuff, it can become tight financially. You've essentially got, like you say, you've got to make that money early, haven't you, and bank it and not squander it.
Yeah, January. I mean, I think January is probably the not by days as such, but it's the longest month of the year, right? Because you go into January 1st, usually the most skin, especially if you're a freelance kind of trainer. You've not made much over Christmas. You spent more, and now you're waiting for all your clients to come back. And then, like you say, they're like, I'll be back mid to end of Jan. And different countries, do things a little bit differently. Like, I always found January actually not that busy. I found towards the end, last week of Jan, things would pick up. A lot of people paid mid-January. They maybe got paid early. Because remember the UK used to do this where they pay you a bit early in December.
Yeah, they still do that.
right?
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't get paid till mid-January again. Mid-month seems to be a very popular date for businesses.
No. What they do now is they pay mid December, like the 20th. Try not to boot the camera there as well, you big beast. I don't think I didn't. Don't think I missed that one there. You know what I mean? One of your big biceps just smashing the camera and all that. But they pay you about the 20th of December now. I mean, I have the same problem knocking the camera all the time. You know what I mean? But but then you have to wait then till the end of Jan. So a lot of people have to have like a 6-week gap. So if you've if you've overspent, is it? Yeah, there is this thing that people are coming back in January. It's not always the case. I mean, what's it like in LA and Hong Kong or places like that?
I mean, sort of similar. I mean, Hong Kong's a whole other animal, right? Because Hong Kong and the US, in fact, they're both different, but it's a bit flipped. So, unlike the UK and like I guess Australia, you go into the new year and you've just got this clear run to Easter. Right, so it's busy, and everyone towards the end of Jan gets going, and the gyms get busy, New Year's resolutions, all this sort of stuff. Hong Kong has obviously it's very westernized, so you have the normal New Year, but you also have Chinese New Year. So Chinese New Year is at a slightly different time each year, but it's usually around February at the latest, early March, but it's usually in Feb. Mm-hmm. So just as things tip up for the normal New Year, everyone then fucks off for Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is 2 weeks.
Right.
So, unlike any culture, right, the Westerners, we're going away for Chinese New Year as well. So it's not like the Westerners go, well, that's not our thing. We're back, we're training, we're doing our thing.
Yeah.
Everything shuts down, things go quiet. So people are like, I'm going to go away over Chinese New Year. So just as you get going for a couple of weeks of busyness, dies off again. Then you have to get going again, and then you've got Easter. So the first kind of quarter or so in Hong Kong is fucking like this. It's up and down, and you've got these small pockets of it getting busy, but not like continuous, not 4, 5, 6 to 8 weeks of continuous busyness, right? Mm-hmm. In the US, we kind of have that because you get just like the UK and kind of Australia, we go right through from January. The next holiday is really Easter, but we've just had Thanksgiving, so we have the problem, as I was just discussing, that the last quarter of the year in the US is tough for gyms because things start to die down for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is just as big as Christmas over here. Everyone goes away. Everyone goes, and it's a massive time for going and visiting family. Mm-hmm. And Thanksgiving is usually around the 24th of November. So mid-November, things start to quieten off. So November is a very tough month. And then just as you get through November, clients start to come back. And we've just had an influx. It's been great, really. I mean, this week we've got a ton of consults in because people have just overeaten. They've just fucking done, Thanksgiving, which is basically like Christmas fucking day. And now, like, oh shit, I've got to get in shape. So we'll get an influx for a week or two. It'll go busy and be like fucking great. And then in a couple of weeks, it'll die off for Christmas. So December's then a little fucked, and that's difficult. So we have to plan. I've had to really plan from sort of September onwards, the back end of this year, and what kind of offers and deals we're going to do for Thanksgiving, how we're maybe going to extend those through December and keep people engaged through sort of Christmas before hitting hopefully the mid-Jan New Year's resolutions thing. So, running businesses in different countries has different problems at different times of the year, if you will. Same problems, just different. Hong Kong's the new year is fucking hard work to get going. LA, back end of the year, we have these two things. So,
the dynamic, I think, of gyms in particular, and maybe arguably health and fitness, as in some ways, in many ways, it's still the same as 20 years ago when we were, 20 odd years ago when we were first getting in, longer maybe. But then in some ways, it's quite different. Now, you've got like your combat element to your gyms, but then you post a lot of like transformation pics in your gyms as well. So it seems to be sort of a kind of a two sort of clear sort of niches there. But I remember personally, and maybe that was where gyms were at that time. But I remember, when we first started out, we had we had quite a lot of rent to pay. It was well over £400 a month, and that was 20 odd years ago. So that would equate to 3 or 4 times that now.
Oh, people are paying well over £1,000 in the UK. I know some
Yeah.
charging over £1,000 a month now just to work.
But I think one of the things that has improved, certainly in like the private sector where people own their own gyms, a bit like yours, is that you kind of get well known for something, so you might be with the combat or the transformations, or there's this big High Rocks event that people are doing, and gyms are now putting out there that gyms are putting out there, we're a High Rocks gym and all that. So, if I want to take part in High Rocks, then off I go, but I think for us back then, there was 2 types of gym. You've touched on this, the kind of gym where you had your upbringing, which was the spit and sawdust, metal plates, bodybuilding, hardcore gyms. And then the gym we worked at, LA Fitness, which we had great years at, didn't we? There's no question about that. But it started off very much like, lines of treadmills, didn't it? Techno gym and all that kind of stuff. There wasn't much kit, there was some dumbbells, cable machine. We actually bought, if I remember rightly, we bought a squat rack, we bought a bloody chin bar, but we also, certainly I did, maybe I'm speaking for myself here, but I was under pressure to pay rent, to make me money, to, I wanted to move out of home and all that. So I would absolutely train anybody at that time. And it wasn't that I would personality match with somebody and think, are we going to gel and are we going to get along and am I going to be able to get the best out of that person? Are they going to like me or I'm going to like them? Do they want to fight, be a boxer or be a bodybuilder, whatever? We just trained anybody. Whoever paid us.
No, I mean, it's interesting you touch on that because, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of, and I also look at a lot of newer trainers to the industry. They'll post a lot of stuff on social media, and they do talk, especially now because it's the way you try and market yourself. They're talking like they're super busy. They're talking like, I've just got one spot left. If you want to take
you with this.
Someone's just cancelled. If anyone,
I'm looking for 5 men. I'm looking for 5 men.
All this, right? And you're like, fuck. Like, I don't think if you're working out of a public health club, let's say, I don't think times have changed that much. I still train in some of those places, so I see what goes on. I see the type of coaches and trainers in there. And look, I think a lot of these coaches are now better and more educated than they've ever been.
Yeah.
But they're also educated in how to market themselves and all this sort of stuff. But this, where some of these young trainers are almost trying to teach and tell other trainers, know your value, only take on certain kind of clients, only do this, only do that. You're like, well, fuck me. Like, hang on. First of all, the gym doesn't give a fuck what time of the year it is. For your rep. Like you just said, they don't give a shit that January all your clients, December all your clients are away or whatever. So maybe let's give you a bit of a discount on rent. Summer's a little quiet. Let's make it cheaper for you then, so you're good. No different than getting a lease on a building, right? This fucking building I lease doesn't give a shit whether it's busy or quiet time of year. It's like, no, that's how much you're paying, right? Along with everything else, all your other bills are not seasonal. They're the fucking same every month. So all these sort of coaches and trainers out there, like, they're talking about this stuff that you should definitely be sort of working your way towards. But the bottom line is you've got to get paid. And there's an element of cutting your teeth a little bit. I think taking on the kind of clients we used to take on, for me, taught us a lot. Like, there's a ton of clients that I look back that I've had, and especially back in those days, you're like, I'm not sure if I care how much you offered me now to train you. I'd train you, right? Yeah. I'd be like,
with no disrespect. With no disrespect.
No disrespect to those people, but it's like
just different.
Yeah.
And because some of them are fucking twats as well. Let's just throw that out there.
Absolutely. I'm glad that I was worried. You've been a bit nice there. That wasn't, you was like,
me, John.
Yeah. And, I think, remembering those days, and I do vividly, of sitting there doing a consult with someone and trying to sign them up and just taking obscene deals that I knew was going to bite me in the arse. I remember guys sitting down and being like, you know, what if I give you this amount for like 50 sessions? And it's fuck all. But you're seeing the big number because you're skint and you're like, okay, look, I know that works out to a shitty hourly rate, but if you're going to give me that upfront in cash now, fuck it, I'll do it. You know, and 2 months later, you're still training this person for almost probably half your normal fucking rate, and you're just like, oh, this is now painful. I wish I'm not.
And them fuckers, and they're the fuckers who always try and tell you that, you know, when you go back to them and say, right, we've done our 20, and they're like, no, we've only done 16, and you're like, no, we've done 20. You end up doing even more for them bastards. I'm on it now. Absolutely. I'm on it.
Yeah. So, you know, but I think you have to almost go through that a little bit, because nothing pissed me off more, and I know you were the same, right, than the fucking guys that did try to stick to their guns, right? Sitting there, not taking on clients, being like, well, I only want this kind of person, I only want that person. And then they're whinging to like me and you when we got into more sort of senior roles within the PT management stuff, going, a bit short for rent this month. And I'm like, well, you better take on some fucking work. And if someone's not willing to pay you what you think you're worth, then take less, earn money, pay your fucking bills. And when you get good and you get a reputation, maybe then you can start turning business down, right? I only started turning business down when I didn't fucking need it. I've never turned business down if I need it. Like, and again, I'm reminded, even now, it's the same stuff. You know, me and Daniel have conversations about, you know, deals that are going on, and you know, some client might come back and go, what if I give you this much for an extra bunch of sessions? And you're like, that's not really what we would normally do. But then I look at the month, I look at the time of year, we've got a deal on. Like, is that a deal breaker? Do we take that now? Because that will cover our arse this month. And then, you know, new business in the new year will cover this. So you still end up doing some of these things, even when your business is at a point where it can turn that kind of thing down. There's certain times of the year where you've got to hit your numbers, right?
It's always a bit of a negotiation, isn't there?
Yeah, every business is the same. I don't what you know, if everybody was flying, no one would be doing fucking all the Black Friday sales, the fucking Cyber Monday sales, smashing a ton of stuff out. You know, going back to the car scenario, I bought a ton of cars right now. I know exactly when to go to the car dealer for a good deal. I go on the last 2 days of the month, last day of the month when they haven't made their fulfillment, and I'm like, how much do you want for this again? And they're like, oh, it's this. I'm like, well, I'll take it now for this much. And then then they go and speak to the manager, and they come back and they're like, oh, the manager's been a bit, you know, we can only drop as low as this. Now, I fucking studied that car online for the last 2 to 3 months. So I know that once a dealership has had a car for over 3 months, they start to lose residual value. So if it says this has been in the market for more than 90 days, I'm like, I'm in for a good deal. And then I'll go on the last day of the month. And then you're like, right, I'm going to get this as probably close to bottom dollar as I can get it without them losing any money either, because they now want to get rid of this. He wants his sales number. Manager needs to get rid of inventory. So, you know, these people that are like, no, I'm just sticking to my guns. Like, you've got to really be of a point at your business where it's making a ton of money. And I know businesses that are like this. Like I said, I know what car dealerships not to go to for that, because there's some that will just go, it's this much, and they never drop their prices, especially high-end stuff. They're like, doesn't matter, it's this much. Someone will buy it. I don't care whether it's now or in 6 months. Yeah. But there's not many businesses out there like that. And personal training businesses and personal trainers, in my experience, definitely don't run a business where they're charging that much money that they can just be like, I only need X amount of clients and I can just
I mean, some of them are charging what we were charging 20 years ago, you know. So
exactly.
I'll tell you where
you'll fucking discount if you need to pay your bills at the end of the day. I hate discounts, don't get me wrong, and anyone that's worked around my business knows my stance on discounts. And anyone that's been around my businesses over the last few years knows how much we charge. We charge a lot of money, but we do run discounts at certain times of the year, offers. We tend to do much more add value offers nowadays than actual it's this much less. We just give away extra things that add value to our program. So our hourly rate's actually not much cheaper, but you're getting X, Y, and Z extra value. There's other ways of doing it.
Yeah, don't give away money, don't give away time, because both of them things mean you've got to work harder, don't they? So
Exactly.
yeah,
But fucking hell, like I said, going back to some of the dumb deals I did, working one-on-one out of the fucking health clubs, it was like, but again, it was needs must. It was like, back in the day, we were like, well, do I take this money and eat and pay my bills, or do I sit there going, I'm not working for that? Like, some guys we used to work with were fucking practically unemployed. They just sat in the gym all day. They were doing that little work. Do you remember?
Yeah,
You'd be like,
absolutely.
Why'd you even come here? You'd fucking come in here to do one session a fucking day. And I remember you going fucking like, go and walk the floor, go and talk to people, go and give them your business card, go and do all this shit. And they just wouldn't do it. They just sat there waiting for business to come to them. And you're like, no, not how the world fucking works. That fucking dumb profile you've just put on the wall with all your fucking qualifications on, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, weight loss expert, toning and fucking shaping and all that shite that people used to write. And you're right, because our gym was in a basement, wasn't it? So, but to get to that basement gym, you'd sort of come in, you'd veer left, and you'd go down a couple of flights of stairs. It was a big mezzanine, wasn't there, after the first flight of stairs? And we had these big profile boards there in this big profile area. And it was right in your line of sight, wasn't it, as you walked past. And it still didn't get anyone jack shit. Every now and then.
So much effort into trying to make themselves sound whatever. And you realise over time, like, the clients do not give a fuck. They don't know what those qualifications are. They don't know what that shit means.
No.
Unless you can put fucking MD next to your fucking name, they don't know what any of it means.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think, if you look at like trends and all that kind of stuff, we've got to drop the ego, haven't we? And we've got to follow, yes, the trends that are out there, but then equally, one of the biggest trends that's always existed is that nobody's going to do fuck all for you in life. You've got to go and build it yourself. And what's that saying? Build it and they will come. Well, actually build it and they won't come. No. You've got to go and get them as well. Yeah. So
bullshit of all time.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that saying.
Yeah,
like,
build it.
If it was that fucking easy, I'd be a lot less fucking grey right now. And I wouldn't be fucking stuck in here every day. I'd be like, I built it. I don't need to be here now.
Yeah, built it and I can chill out now, And
building it's the fucking easy part. Like, you're assuming you've got the money and stuff. Like, I fucking love the build. I love putting the fit out together. I love ordering the equipment. I love fucking designing how this shit's gonna look. That's the dream part. That's the easy bit. Like, don't wrong, fucking headaches with contractors and shit like that. But fuck me, if I could just build gyms for a living and fucking walk away and let someone else build the business, that would be like fucking dream job. Like when people say build it, they'll come like, I'll build it. You fucking find a way.
You fill it. You deal with it. Yeah, absolutely.
Deal with that. I'll just build you your gyms. Give me a fucking fee, and then on to the next one, because I fucking love that phase. Even getting the team in and training them up and getting them ready to go on day one. All that's fucking a buzz. And I say it's easy, but it's because I enjoy it. The hard work starts the minute you open those doors on day one and go, okay, all that fucking work, and we've got an empty gym and
no one's here. No one's here.
In LA with zero. Like, a lot of people, not to fucking big myself up at all, but a lot of people open gyms off the back of clients they've already got, or a gym that they're working at, and they go and open a gym around the corner and steal half the clients. So they've already got the client base. They steal half the trainers. So you only got to steal 3 or 4 trainers and have 20, 30, 40, 50 clients come with you on day one, and you're not starting from scratch. Don't wrong, it's not easy, but you've got revenue on day one because you stole it from someone else's business, which I fucking hate. And none of that in LA. I wasn't, I wasn't working in another gym in LA. Didn't have a bunch of people that I could fucking trainers or coaches that I could steal and go, bring your business here and I'll do you a deal. None of that stuff. We opened on day one with our own marketing, with no one in the fucking gym. I think we had 2 clients that I started with just before we fucking opened, with a big fucking gym to try and fill. So
and a big rent bill to pay and all that.
Build it and they will come is just fucking does not tell half the fucking story.
No, it's utter bollocks. So I think again, looking at trends across the board, going back to what we were saying before about we trained anyone, and that was probably, possibly a mistake and all that. But then to flip that, we were open to training everyone, weren't we? And we never had that. We never had that delusion of grandeur that I'm too good for this or I'm too good for you. And ours was built on customer service, wasn't it? And just helping people, train everyone.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think you can become a really good coach unless you have tried training everybody, right? Like,
absolutely.
From day one and go, I'm only training with this personality type that understands me and is going to do everything I do. Like, the real world doesn't really quite work like that. And I have a lot of these conversations with my team when we do education because, we try to personality type, we try to give them clients that we think will suit them. But at the same time, they're having to slowly learn that we have all these systems and we have all these tools at our disposal. But just because that's working or that way, that approach and way of talking and communicating, because the bottom line is, for me, good coaching is communication. Mm-hmm. And you only learn to communicate if you then learn to work with an array of different personalities, because you have to tweak the way you communicate and the way you talk to different people in order to get the best out of them. And you realize very quick that if you've had a little bit of success with a couple of clients and they're the same type of personality, you're like, okay, don't congratulate yourself that you're such a great coach just yet, because you two have gelled and matched really well, and that's great. And that's what you want more of. But what about this person here that you're not gelling with?
Yeah.
And you're struggling to get your points across, and you're struggling to motivate and struggling to educate, and they're not listening and they're not doing all the things you want them to do. Do you just give up? Is that the client's fault? Or do you find ways of like, right, okay, this person is not, is maybe very negative. They're maybe not very confident. And that's not a personality type that you're very good at working with.
Yep.
Well, now's a good chance to really fucking upskill yourself and try to learn how to make that person tick. How can you better that person? How can you improve them? And especially because I think people don't think big picture. They'll go into PT and go, I only want to train with a certain kind of person. And then the amount of fucking idiots that I get coming to me that, within a year or two of PT and Gen Pop, and I'm sure you had this, like, how'd you get into training athletes?
Just wrote it down.
Just
wrote it down.
Do you think, and because they think all athletes are the fucking same. You're like,
it's the holy grail. It's the holy grail.
You think you've got different personality types in the Gen Pop? Wait till you start training athletes and then take a look at their quirks, their personalities, what they like. And depending on the level of the athlete, like, you think you're going to fucking walk in and just boss that person around and communicate with them how you communicate.
Or that they even like training. You think that they all like training?
No. So, dealing with anybody and training anybody, whilst it's frustrating, whilst it can be hard work, I do value those days. I learned so much doing that. Like, I couldn't in a million years, and I'm sure you couldn't, I couldn't go back to it. It fucking killed me. But if all of a sudden I was like, oh, fuck, I'm broke, I'm going to have to go and get a job in a normal gym, and I'm just going to have to start training anybody again, it would be so hard, because I've got so used to moving away from that again. But, getting back involved with training athletes again at the moment and stuff. So again, it's that reminder of, my job is to train the athlete. I don't get to pick and choose which fucking one. I'm not that fucking good, right? The bottom line is, I'll train whoever needs training, and we'll meet, we talk, I try and gel, and we work out, hopefully the best way to communicate, right? I mean, I'm training a fucking Kazakh guy at the moment. He can't speak a word of English.
Yeah.
Fucking good fighter. I mean, this kid,
I bet he is,
If he's got a lot of potential, and it's like, nice guy as well, fucking great guy, but we don't fucking understand the word each other says.
But that's really challenging, isn't it? That's really challenging.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a lot of going back to, visual demonstrations, which trainers hate doing, and you're like, well, they can't speak English. Most people can't understand your fucking instructions when they do speak English, and you still refuse to do a quick demo because you
quick silent demo, and you had to do that to pass your course as well, because you couldn't pass a course without doing
now
silent demos, could you?
Yeah, I can explain it to anybody because I'm that fucking smart, So that there's skills in that, right? Like, I could and I wouldn't, but like if it was to be like, oh fucking hell, this is too hard. They don't even speak English. Da, da, da. This kid could be a fucking world champion in a few years.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pass that up because it's a little bit of hard work, and I've got to learn how to communicate, and I'm having to work out, okay, how can we bridge this gap, right? And all I need you to do is do the fucking movements I need you to do, right? And if I can work out a way to explain that and do what's necessary for my role, we all win. But I'm not going to be like, okay, it's a little bit outside of my my spec and all this sort of stuff. And I don't want to work with this person because they're this. I don't want to work with that person because they're that. It's like, well, take yourself back to day one as a trainer, because when you start coaching athletes, if you really want to hopefully get some high level guys, then get working with anybody.
Yeah.
Learn how to work with anybody, because that's how they're going to refer you, and put your fucking skills to some sort of test.
Yeah.
Because trust me, you think working with Gen Pop's hard, training, working with athletes can be even harder.
Absolutely.
But everyone just wants that because it sounds fucking good. It's like,
it sounds cool.
Be prepared to fucking work.
I was smiling then a second ago because after you nailed the athlete comment, just as I was writing it down, I thought you were about to nail it again because I just wrote something else down and we got pretty close. What I wrote down was comfort zones. And actually, a lot of trainers and coaches will talk a good game about, I can do this, I can do that, I've got this knowledge, I can do that, I've got all these skills, I've got all these results, da-da-da-da-da. But you ask them to step out of their comfort zone, and it's great. Everything that you've just said there is great, having a bunch of results with one demographic of person, a bunch of success with one demographic of person, whether that's, I don't know, men aged between 20 to 30 or whatever. But you ask them to step out of their comfort zone, step out and, all right, okay, I get that you'd prefer to train men between age 20 and 30. But you know what? Today, you're going to train that person over there who's age 45, has things that you definitely don't quite have commonality and rapport with, in terms of life experiences and all that kind of stuff. That, let's say it's a lady, she's had 3 children, you've not experienced having children. Fine. But what she has got is 2 arms, 2 legs, and they squat the same way, lunge the same way, push and pull the same way, and she needs motivation because she's got none, she's tired, she's stressed, and she feels nervous in the gym. So do your fucking job and go and train her. Do you know what I mean?
And like you say, what is your approach? What is your skill set? I think when I'm all for, for becoming niche.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But I think becoming niche is something that you sort of work towards, in my opinion, via experience, right? Unless you can just walk straight into your niche, which some people can. Like if you are a bodybuilder, let's say, and you've done a lot of stepping on stage yourself, and you get that was your thing first, and you get a good reputable name, and then you go into literally just prepping people for that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can go into that, and then you can stay in that pretty much for the rest of your life. But I think
absolutely,
I think like I think you're touching on people that still work for an open gym stroke health club, and they're trying to niche these people, especially online and whatnot. I only work with these kind of people. And you're just like, well, you're first of all, you're limiting your knowledge. You're limiting, building and growing something, because, if you only want to work with those kind of people, fine. But then what? Then what, when you filled your day with those? Where's your career going to go after that? You're going to open a gym that says, we only train 25 to 45-year-old men.
Yeah.
And a female walks in your doors and you've not made rent, and you're like, we can't. We don't train method women, or whatever. You're like, how are you going to build and grow something that maybe isn't going to be reliant fully on a niche? Maybe transformations is your niche, but that's then for everybody, but it's also for every age. What when someone comes in who doesn't really want that? Are you gonna, which is what I do. With us, like we work on transformations and we use them to get new business in and things. We have tons of different types of clients come in, and they may come in looking at the transformation, but when we sit down, we assess and we talk, we realize, okay, that's not where you're at, and that's not the approach we're going to necessarily take with you. But we are going to get you healthier. We are going to help you lose weight. We are going to help you, get stronger and build some muscle. But the approach is going to be very different for that person. The time frame is going to be very different for that person. And we're adjusting like this niche of like, well, I'm just going to train you the same as everybody else. And you do see that a lot. That's all they know. So all of a sudden you've got them training, some 20, 30-year-old, ex fucking college athlete that can fucking move quite well. Yeah. And the next comes in and it's the exact same, but they're 50 fucking 5 with a ton of fucking broken down shit, and the program's exactly the same.
Oh, mate,
and
don't
what the fuck are you doing?
Mate, honestly, no names because we don't want to get sued. No names. But it's great that big events have appeared all over the world and have got people active and got people competitive, because I don't think there's anything wrong with being competitive either. But
no, not at all.
But now, certainly in the UK, it seems that like every fucking exercise program is 6 exercises and that's it. Yeah. And it's those 6 exercises that are in these events, and it's like, no, that's not how you fucking train people. Of course you have to exercise programs have to be specific, right? So of course there is specificity there, but fuck me, it's got to be more well-rounded than that. Yeah, apart from the fact, like you say, of injuries, limitations, all that.
Yeah, I mean, I could do a whole other I'm sure we both could do a whole other podcast on specificity training, on what it actually is, because like you said, it's very misunderstood. And if you're talking about what I think you're talking about, it's like, okay, so you're training for this event that's going to do these 6 things. So that's all we're going to do to get you prepped for it. It's like, okay, you're really missing the boat of what specificity training is.
Absolutely.
It's not just doing the fucking thing you're going to compete in, right? If that was the case, high-level sport, all you would do is fucking box. Why do anything else?
Fight. Yeah.
Box. Why the fuck are you doing conditioning? Why are you going running? Why are you seeing your fucking physio? Why are you having manual therapy work done? Why are you doing why are you doing all these other things? Why do you just box?
Yeah. Right? Marathon runners. Why don't you just run? Just run.
Yeah. So I just think, again, it's usual. It's, for me, that's just uneducated. Trend. Coaches going into, okay, this is this big thing that people like training for nowadays,
which is great.
Which is great, yeah. But the easiest way for me to understand training you for that is for us to just mimic the events in the gym, and then come competition day, you'll be prepared. And it's like, if you don't break them before they fucking get there, yes. And there's
not
more
burn them out. Burn them out
for competition than just doing the things you're about to do. So for me, that just all comes down to education. It's an easy out. I'd compare it to back in the day, and again, no names, but you'll probably know who I'm talking about now. When CrossFit was big.
No names. No names.
And we're going to do WOD of the day.
Yeah.
So you're getting up in the morning and you're going, okay, today's WOD, because CrossFit used to have it on the app, right?
Yeah. They used to load it.
All my clients are going to back-to-back do WOD of the fucking day. Well, that's pretty fucking hard for some people.
Yeah.
All right, for others. And to me, it's at the time, and we're all guilty of it, but at the same time, it was lazy coaching.
It was
lack of understanding, lack of really understanding CrossFit fully. You think a CrossFit athlete just does fucking WOD of the day.
WOD of the day, yeah.
And looks jacked as fuck. Like, all these people that did CrossFit and do CrossFit, you're like, there's a reason they look like that, and you're doing CrossFit classes and you look like that. Because they're not training like you.
Yeah.
They're training for a competitive sport, which CrossFit is.
Yeah.
Sport, stroke, fitness, whatever you want to call it. But they're training the individual components. They're focusing on recovery. They're focusing on nutrition. Yes, are they putting it together at certain parts of the week and doing it in a WOD style? Of course they are. But that's not all they're doing every single fucking day.
Yeah.
And that's why they look like they look, and that's why you look like you look, because all you're doing is going to CrossFit class, eating like shit, not recovering properly, you know. And so, you know, training anyone for a comp where you're taking that same mindset and just going, let's just do the events that you're going to fucking do on the day. It's fucking mindless, if you ask
absolutely.
me. But again,
absolutely.
it comes down to the level of the people you've trained. And fucking ran, probably get close to ending on this, but these are the people that then go, I want to train athletes. It's always those people.
I've not got enough money for rent.
Yeah. And you're like, where are you getting that what you're doing is even remotely close to how a professional athlete would train? You know, go away. And I think, you know, the problem is as well, like the actual available knowledge that's out there for training athletes is not that easy to find. So a lot of people are you know, looking at what other people are doing on Instagram and whatnot, and a lot of it's taken from, you know, the strength world, bodybuilding world, and all these other things, and you know, they're trying to put these concepts together and go, that'll work for an athlete. It's like, look, no, I could reel off 10 high-level coaches that train athletes, and most of you won't know who these people are. You have to go out and seek their knowledge. You have to go out and find these people, get on their sites, listen to some of their podcasts, understand what it takes to really train high-level athletes and what kind of things you'll be doing with them and where your hierarchy and priorities are, because these people actually train athletes, right? And a lot of these people are not well known because they're actually fucking busy training athletes.
Cracking on.
Are well known, are great at what they do, but they're training trainers to train people in a certain environment. And there's only a handful that are moving it towards, okay, you can, you know, level 1 will help you train gem and pop. Level 2 will move into some sort of more performance. And then if you can hit a level 3, we'll start looking at how maybe you train athletes. But there's not many people with that knowledge out there, education-wise. And there's not many people delivering courses that will really fucking help you do that. You know, there are a few that I know of, and they're really fucking good. But if you're not using those guys, then you're probably not learning the kind of stuff you need to learn.
I agree.
But then even then it all goes to shit when the athlete's in front of you and you're like, fuck, they can't even fucking move properly. I want to do all these fancy athlete type movements.
And they can't squat.
They can't touch the toes. They can't bend the fucking knees properly. And the shoulders are fucked. And you're just like, you know, I've got some gem pop clients that train more like an athlete than athlete. Because right now that's not what they need. I almost need to prepare them to train properly.
Absolutely.
To enhance their sport, even though the minute they're doing their sport, they're fucking world class. It's an anomaly that people don't see and understand, especially in some sports. I think, you know, the college background in the US is very different. So when you see, you know, college basketball players, college football players and whatnot, they have their high level fucking, you know, gym setups from 12 years old. So in America, it's a little bit of a different scene. But if you've never had that training background and you're an athlete, you can be shit hot at your sport, walk them into the weight room, and it's like, fuck, I've got a high level professional athlete who's a novice in the gym.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to understand. And you have to treat them like a novice and build them up, not treat them like an athlete.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. With that in mind, I've got one final question for you, very quickly. You spend a lot of time, you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you spend a lot of time doing bodybuilding, but I've seen online you're doing marathon training right now. How's it going?
It's going shit is how it's fucking going. So I fucking started out, and it's my own fucking fault, ego. I'm like 220 pounds at the moment, right? So I'm quite fucking heavy, but I can still run. My running's, you know, I went out and my goal was I'm going to do a short run in the week. I'm going to do my long runs at the weekend. So I started with a 6 miler, which actually I was feeling pretty good. So I did 7 miles. This was about 3 weeks ago I started, right? My fucking feet were in bits after my 7 miles. They were fucked. Even though the gas tank and the running felt quite good, I went at a steady pace. Week 2, I do my short run, and I get a little tug in my calf, and I'm like, fuck it, it'll be fine. I keep running. I go out and do my next long run, and I get a worse tug in my
Yeah.
calf. I fucking pull it, and I'm like, oh fuck! So I'll give it a few days to recover. Last week I go out for my short run, and after 2 miles, both calves fucking exploded. But my mindset, and I did it the week before on the long run, was very much like, right, okay, I'm wrong, but this is what a dickhead I am. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, what if this happened in the marathon? Am I going to stop? Am I going to stop running? Or am I going to keep going?
Oh no!
I keep going and finish my final 2 miles on 2 torn calves.
Yeah.
Anyway, this last week I've just been hobbling around, so both my calves are fucked. So now I need to.
The advice is don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do what I fucking do. But the ironic thing is, I've never had this problem with my calves before, right? And I've took time off running, and I've gone back to it. Like my boxing coach Chris runs on fucking Sunday mornings, and I've jumped in and out with those guys a few times. They always run 6 miles minimum, and I've always run it, even if I've been gassing like fuck. I've been fine. So I don't know why the calf thing has become a problem and what happened, or if I just overdid it. I don't know what kind of caused it, but yeah, fucking wrong approach, which I will acknowledge at some point. So now I'm not taking a week or 2 off running just to let my calves heal, and then I'll revisit building the miles again. But I'll still fucking do it. My problem is I'm fucking impatient, and my goal was like, right, if I can be running 10 or 12 miles by sort of January, I'll be fucking fine by Christmas. January, which I was on for. My last run was eight.
When is the marathon? When is it?
17th of March. Plenty of fucking time. It'll be fine.
Time. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I need to let my car. Like I was stupid pushing it, thinking that I'd work through it, because now, like literally, like the sore is fucked now. My right one's been fucked all week, hobbling around. So,
and as people can see, that wasn't a scripted question, so there we go.
Fucking absolutely. Because I've not really told anyone about the calves thing. The only people that know are people that see me hobbling around.
You have now, mate.
Because I started out with, run's going quite well and posting and shit, and then when they really went, I was pissed. I was also pissed at myself for just doing the exact opposite of any advice I would give everybody else. I'm still that old, stubborn twat that thinks he's fucking different to everybody else and that I'll be fine. So yeah, it's just another lesson that, look, as much as my mind is more than fucking willing, like my first run was 7 miles, did 8 miles the other day. Like, I'll fucking run, I'll do it, because my mind's pretty strong when I put myself to something. But I just got to remember that my body's not quite as fucking willing. Well, my calves in particular are clearly not as willing to run the miles that my brains and heart and lungs are actually comfortable fucking doing. So I have to be a little bit more patient, which for me is the more frustrating thing, because I'm kind of like, well, if I can run 8 or 9 miles now, why not run it, get used to it?
Yeah.
Because then it just becomes a thing. Having to hold back the miles when I know I can do more is, for me, I'm kind of like, fuck, well, it's only going to get harder. I've got to wait until I do these. So yeah, my own fault, but I'll take a week or 2 to let my calves fully heal now, because if I don't, I'm never going to get through it. And I do believe that when I start running again, I won't have the same problem and I'll be absolutely fucking fine, but we'll see. Depends how much damage I've done.
Well, fingers crossed, my friend. Fingers crossed. Listen, we need to wrap up there now, don't we?
Yeah.
We've been on an hour. Good podcast. Yeah. As always, good to talk to you. And for everyone listening, he's John with his sore calves. I'm Ric. I'm Ric, sat here in my coat, freezing cold. And this has been the Winning Edge podcast, and we'll see you next time. See you later.
Thank you.